Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining me for tonight's anger quiz. All right, so I think we're about a minute away from starting. You are going to need to switch off your mobile phones. You are going to need a pen and a piece of paper. We have 25 questions that we will be working through this evening. And some of them are very easy, like ridiculously easy. Some of them are actually really tricky. We've got a fair mix of the two. Some are multiple choice, some you really need to put your thinking caps on. No Googling, no cheating. And we will be uploading this video to our YouTube channel probably by tomorrow. So if you do need to head off for any reason, don't worry, you can complete the quiz at a later stage. Just a reminder to you before we get started that we still have several other webinars coming up. There is one that I'm part of tomorrow as well, which is something that I've literally just been sent the text message about to say, can you still do tomorrow? And I've said yes, and I don't know what it is. So let me bring that up on my screen right now. Tomorrow, we have got, dealing with criticism tomorrow. And then we've got a gap until Monday. Monday's another open Q&A session. Then we have back to me for how to cope with illness. We then have the sleep quiz, homeschooling stuff, which hopefully you won't ever need again, but you never know. We have got managing self-expectations, another open Q&A, a self-harm quiz, developing good routine, and coping with playing two roles are your upcoming webinars for in the following couple of weeks. So without further ado, we shall proceed now with the anger quiz. You're going to need numbers 1 down to 25. And I will begin with question number 1. So question number 1, anger is sometimes used to substitute emotional pain. All right, so question number 1 is anger is sometimes used to substitute emotional pain. Is that true or is it false? All right, remember too that there is a chat box function, so you are able to ping over your messages. Good evening to Dexter. I see that you're here this evening. Welcome along. Don't think we've seen you on any of our previous webinars before. All right, there we go. That's the chat function. Good stuff. By the way, that anything that you're pinging over in the chat right now doesn't end up on the YouTube channel, just so you know. It's just for my reference for this evening. Okay, so question number 2. Anger is sometimes used as a distraction. Okay, question number 2. Anger is sometimes used as a distraction. Is that true or is it false? Okay, question number 3. People make less risky decisions when they are angry. You're going to be thinking, this quiz is so easy. Okay, people make less risky decisions when they are angry. Is that true or is that false? Okay, what do you think? Less risky decisions or not? Okay, question number 4. Anger is one of the 7 deadly sins. Okay, so is that true or is it false? Anger is one of the 7 deadly sins. No Googling, remember, no cheating. What do you think? Okay, so I'll give you a recap on where we are so far. So number 1, anger is sometimes used to substitute emotional pain. Number 2, anger is sometimes used as a distraction. Number 3, people make less risky decisions when they're angry. Number 4, anger is one of the 7 deadly sins. So question number 5 is, when Bill Clinton was involved in the Monica Lewinsky scandal, study participants were more supportive of him when he demonstrated A, regret, B, sadness, C, nonchalance, or D, anger. Don't go thinking that just because this is the anger quiz, that anger is most definitely going to be the answer to that question. All right, so I'll read it one more time. When Bill Clinton was involved in the Monica Lewinsky scandal, study participants were more supportive of him when he demonstrated A, regret, B, sadness, C, nonchalance, or D, anger. Okay. All right, so question number 6. If you show anger during negotiation, you are more or less likely to get what you want. What do you think? If you show anger during a negotiation, you are more or less likely to get what you want. Okay, question number 7. Who is viewed more favorably? Angry men or angry women? Okay, who is viewed more favorably? Angry men or angry women? And if you didn't already guess, all of these, well, almost all of these questions have some kind of scientific basis to them based on studies and research that have been done. Question number 8 then. Who experiences anger the most? A, men, B, women, or C, the same? Okay, who do you think gets most angry? Do we mostly see angry men, angry women, or do you think that they both get equally as angry? Okay, question number 9. Who is better at containing their anger? A, men, B, women, or C, they are equally as able to contain their anger? All right, who is better at containing their anger? A, men, B, women, or C, the same? Okay, question number 10. We'll take a brief pause after this one, have a sip of our drinks. Question number 10. What 2 emotions have been scientifically proven to occur in a temper tantrum? Okay, what 2 emotions have been scientifically proven to occur in a temper tantrum? So think about a toddler that you know, maybe even an adult that you know, that will just have almost a temper tantrum like reaction to something simple and easy, like taking the car to the garage. Think about someone that you know who has experienced something like a temper tantrum. What were the 2 emotions that you think were showing up there? All right, let me have a quick sip of my drink and then we will continue with questions 11 to 20. Cheers, everybody. If you're having yourselves a glass of wine this evening, then cheers to you. I have Vimto. But, you know, it's better than nothing. Speaking of anger, did you all see Piers Morgan's rant about Meghan on Good Morning Britain? I've just found out that's just got him the sack, that big old rant that he had when he stormed off set. And I was wondering how much of that was kind of, you know, put on drama versus how much of it was he genuinely got to a point of boiling over and had to march off. But good demo of anger if you wanted to hop on YouTube and see that one a bit later. Okay, so carrying on with our quiz, question number 11. In fact, let me recap the last 5 for you. So we had when Bill Clinton was involved in the Monica Lewinsky scandal, study participants were more supportive of him when he demonstrated A, regret, B, sadness, C, nonchalance, or D, anger. Number 6 was if you show anger during a negotiation, you are more or less likely to get what you want. Number 7, who is viewed more favorably, angry men or angry women? Number 8, who experiences anger the most, men, women, or both the same? Who is better at containing their anger, men, women, or they are both the same? And number 10 was what 2 emotions have been scientifically proven to occur in a temper tantrum? All right, so question 11 for you now. What part of the brain is activated when angry and is also, for a little clue, is also commonly linked to emotions such as fear and anxiety? Okay, so what part of the brain is activated when angry and is commonly linked to emotions such as fear and anxiety as well. Okay, so it's that specific part of the brain that I'm looking for. If you need a clue on that one, that's question number 11. I'm open to giving you a little clue on question 11 if you need it. All right, so now we have a true or false for question 12. So the DSM, which is the Diagnosis and Statistical Manual, does not recognize anger as a mental health condition. Do you think that's true or false? So the DSM, which is the Diagnosis Manual, this is the one that's used mainly in America for diagnosis. The DSM does not recognize anger as a mental health condition. I mean, they're all quite angry in America, aren't they? So that would be surprising, but what do you think, true or false? Okay, so then question 13, the ICD. If you did the quiz with me before, you might remember me saying the DSM is the diagnosis manual that's used in America. The ICD is used by the World Health Organization and is technically the one that we subscribe to in Europe. However, we do often reference the DSM as well. So the ICD references 2 anger-related conditions. I'm going to tell you one of them. I want you to tell me what the other one is. So the first one is intermittent explosive disorder. What is the name of the other anger-related condition mentioned in the ICD? Okay, intermittent explosive disorder sounds absolutely terrifying. It's like spontaneous human combustion. I mean, it's not, it sounds like that. Okay, so the ICD references 2 anger-related conditions, intermittent explosive disorder, and what is the other one? So if you need a clue, I can give you one, but otherwise we're moving on to question 14. All right, so an angry, abusive parent can change the developing brain of a child. Is that true or is it false? Clue, all right. What one do we need a clue for? Number 13 was that? Let me see. Okay, number 13 was the ICD references 2 anger-related conditions, intermittent explosive disorder, and what is the other? So the other one is it is a condition. That's not really the word I was going for. But yeah, let's call it a condition, a disorder. That's a better word. It is a disorder which is commonly heard about in children. All right, and it's not ADHD. That's your clue. Okay, so it's a condition which you might say is a bit like ADHD. So it's commonly heard of in children, but it's not ADHD. Okay. Ha! I just seen damn come through. Yeah, sorry. But I think you do know it. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. I think you do know it. All right, so where were we? Question 14. An angry, abusive parent can change the developing brain of a child, true or false? Then we have got question 15. Some video games teach rage control, true or false? Okay, so think about this one. We hear a lot about video games causing emotional disturbances in children. So the question is, some video games teach rage control. Is that true or is it false? Okay, number 16. What food is known to contribute to anger? A, chocolate. B, Brussels sprouts. C, pasta. Or D, none of them. All right. So what food is known to contribute towards anger? A, chocolate. B, Brussels sprouts. C, pasta. Or D, none of them. All right, I'm going to recap you on those last 5. So 11 was what part of the brain is activated when angry and is commonly linked to emotions such as fear and anxiety. I did offer you a clue on that one, by the way. It's still open to the offer. Number 12, true or false, the DSM does not recognise anger as a mental health condition. Question 13, the ICD references two anger-related conditions, intermittent explosive disorder. What is the other one? We want the clue on number 11, okay? So the clue on number 11, what part of the brain is activated when angry, begins with an A. Okay, that's your clue. It's a part of the brain that begins with an A. Yes. Okay, question 14 was an angry, abusive parent can change the developing brain of a child, true or false? 15 was some video games teach rage control, true or false? And 16 was what food is known to contribute towards anger? A, chocolate, B, Brussels sprouts, C, pasta, or D, none of them. Okay. Question 17 then. Right. Reactive anger stems from A, hyper-responsiveness, or B, hypo-responsiveness. Okay, so think about if you know anyone with diabetes or like any kind of blood disorders, do they go hyper or do they go hypo? And what does that mean? So reactive anger stems from hyper-responsiveness or hypo-responsiveness. So you've got to get your hypers and your hypos around the right way here. Question number 18. What is classed as a gateway to anger? Is it A, frustration, B, threat, C, low IQ, or D, having children? So what is classed as a gateway to anger? A, frustration, B, threat, C, low IQ, or D, having children? We may have some disputes on this one, I feel. Okay, number 19. How is blood pressure affected by anger? Okay, how is blood pressure affected by anger? And question 20 is, what is the name of the neurotransmitter released when angry? If you get this one, you're really clever. All right, what is the name of the neurotransmitter released when angry? So to recap you those final four there, we've got what food is known to, no, did I say some video games teach rage control? Repeat on that one. What food is known to contribute to anger was number 16, chocolate, Brussels, pasta or none. Reactive anger stems from hyper-responsiveness or hypo-responsiveness. 19, how is blood pressure affected by anger? Number 20, what is the name of the neurotransmitter released when angry? Okay, it begins with a C, if that helps, little clue there. So question number 21 of 25. What part of the brain is responsible for keeping your emotions under control? Okay, what part of your brain is responsible for keeping your emotions under control? So earlier we talked about there's a part of your brain which is responsible for anger, and what happens is almost like a bit of communication, or what should happen is some communication between those two parts of your brain. Well, one of them kicks off and goes, we're getting angry, and then the other one, the emotion control one, goes, whoa, it's all going to be all right, and calms everything back down again. So what is the name of that part of the brain which helps to keep your emotions under control? If you require a clue on that one, then you can let me know. That was question 21. Question number 22. During an angry outburst, you are more or less likely to remember the details. Let's give those A's and B's. So during an angry outburst, you are A, more likely to remember details, or B, less likely to remember the details. Question number 23. Is anger valuable? Yes or no? Question number 24. Oh, this is an interesting one. So this is based on a study. Which ethnicity shows the lowest frequency of expression of negative emotions? Okay, which ethnicity shows the lowest frequency of expression of negative emotions? So it doesn't mean that they don't get angry, it just means they're not good at expressing it. All right, which ethnicity shows the lowest frequency of expression of negative emotions? And question number 25 is, most people cite the cause of their anger as A, internal, or B, external. Which one did you miss there, Dexter? What was 23? Is anger valuable? Yes or no? Okay, so is anger valuable was 23. Let me give you a recap on all of what we've got there so far. So 20 was, what is the name of the neurotransmitter released when angry? And I gave you a clue of it begins with a C. 21, what part of the brain is responsible for keeping your emotions under control after your anger's kicked off? 22, during an angry outburst, you are A, more likely to remember the details, or B, less likely to remember the details. 23, is anger valuable? Yes or no? 24, which ethnicity shows the lowest frequency of expression of negative emotions? And question 25, people cite the causes of their anger as, so most people, this is most people cite the causes of their anger as A, internal, or B, external. Right, I'm going to have a quick drink. We're going to run through all of them super quick, and then we will do the answers. All right, so question number 1 was, this is your last chance to change your answers, okay? Question 1, anger is sometimes used to substitute pain, true or false? Number 2, anger is sometimes used as a distraction, true or false? 3, people make less risky decisions when they are angry, true or false? Number 4, anger is one of the 7 deadly sins, true or false? Question 5, when Bill Clinton was involved in the Monica Lewinsky scandal, study participants were more supportive of him when he demonstrated A, regret, B, sadness, C, nonchalance, or D, anger. Number 6, if you show anger during negotiation, you are more or less likely to get what you want. Question 7, who is viewed more favorably, angry men or angry women? Question number 8, who experiences anger the most? Men, women, or the same? Who is better at containing their anger? Men, women, or both the same? Question 10 was, what two emotions have been scientifically proven to occur in a temper tantrum? Question 11, what part of the brain is activated when angry and is commonly linked to emotions such as fear and anxiety? Question 12, true or false, the DSM does not recognize anger as a mental health condition. Question 13, the ICD references 2 anger-related conditions, intermittent explosive disorder. What is the other one? Question 14, an angry, abusive parent can change the developing brain of a child. True or false? 15, some video games teach rage control. True or false? Question 16, what food is known to contribute to anger? A, chocolate, B, Brussels sprouts, C, pasta, or D, none of them. Question 17, reactive anger stems from hyperresponsiveness or hyporesponsiveness. Question 18, what is classed as a gateway to anger? A, frustration, B, threat, C, low IQ, or D, having children. 19, how is blood pressure affected in anger? Question 20, what is the name of the neurotransmitter released when angry? Question 21, What part of the brain is responsible for keeping your emotions under control? 22. During an angry outburst, you're A, more likely to remember the details, or B, less likely to remember details. Question 23. Is anger valuable? 24. Which ethnicity shows the lowest frequency of expression of negative emotions? And question 25 was, most people cite the cause of their anger as A, internal, or B, external. Okay, it's time for your answers. So question number 1, anger is sometimes used to substitute, that's not even a word, to substitute emotional pain. The answer is true. Question 2, anger is sometimes used as a distraction, is true. Number 3, people make less risky decisions when angry, is false. They make way more risky decisions. Question 4, anger is one of the 7 deadly sins, is false. It's wrath, which is a type of anger, but it's not classed as anger. All right, so question number 5, this is quite an interesting one. When Bill Clinton was involved in the Monica Lewinsky scandal, study participants were more supportive when he demonstrated. So there were actually 2 choices that they were given. They were given the choice of either sadness or anger, and they were more supportive of him when he was angry. Okay, so when he expressed sadness about what had happened, they did not support him so much. Question 6, if you show anger during negotiation, you are more or less likely to get what you want? More. Question 7, who is viewed more favorably, angry men or angry women? The answer is angry men. Question 8, who experiences anger the most? Men, women, or both the same? The answer is men. Who is better at containing their anger? Men, women, or the same? The answer is women. All right, so what 2 emotions have been scientifically proven to occur in a temper tantrum? Obviously, one of them is anger. The other one is sadness. Okay, question 11. What part of the brain is activated when angry and is commonly linked to emotions such as fear and anxiety? I think you might have got this one. The answer is the amygdala, or the amygdala, depending on how you want to say it. Question number 12. True or false, the DSM does not recognize anger as a mental health condition? The answer is true. Question 13. The ICD references 2 anger-related conditions, intermittent explosive disorder. What is the other? ODD, so oppositional defiance disorder. Question 14. If an angry abusive parent can change the developing brain of a child, true or false? The answer is true, to the same extent that sexual abuse can change the developing brain of a child. So it's actually really, really severe. Question 15, some video games teach rage control. The answer is true. So there's actually a game which is called Rage, and in the game you are shooting aliens, and as soon as the game gets frustrating and your physiology starts to react to that, the gun stops working. So the game actually teaches you to calm yourself down so that you're able to continue playing it. As soon as you get yourself too worked up and angry, then the equipment stops working. So that's really cool. All right, so question 16, what food is known to contribute to anger? Chocolate, Brussels sprouts, pasta, or none? The answer is none. Question 17, reactive anger stems from hyper-responsiveness or hypo-responsiveness? The answer is hyper-responsiveness, so A. 18, what is classed as a gateway to anger? A, frustration, B, threat, C, low IQ, or D, having children? The answer is both A and B. So both frustration and threat can trigger anger. Question 19. How is blood pressure affected in anger? It goes up. Question 20. What is the name of the neurotransmitter released when angry? Honestly, I'll give you all the points if you got this one. It's called catecholamines. Catecholamines. Spelled CATACHOLAMINES. So the neurotransmitter released when you are angry is called a catecholamine. But what part of the brain is responsible for keeping your emotions under control? You did not get that. You're a bunch of liars. All right. Which one is responsible for keeping your emotions under control? It is the prefrontal cortex. Did you get that one? Prefrontal cortex. So when your amygdala kicks off and starts to get either angry or anxious, it's your prefrontal cortex that should be kicking in and going, it's okay, we've managed this before, we're going to get through it. Does prefrontal lobe count? No, different place. Your lobes are here, different location, sorry. But you were right with it being at the front, just wrong place. Okay, during an angry outburst, you are, I put hypothalamus anyway. Yeah, that's also wrong. During an angry outburst, you are A, more likely to remember the details, or B, less likely to remember the details. The answer is less likely, so B. When you get angry, you're just like in a very tunnel vision space, and you're not good at remembering the details about what happened, even if you think you are. 23, anger is valuable. The answer is yes. It's really good for enforcing boundaries. Sometimes we need to stand up for ourselves. And as you've actually seen already, like that incident with, the scandal between Bill Clinton and Monica Lewinsky, people, I guess, saw more strength in him when he demonstrated anger, whereas when he showed sadness, they did not favour him quite so much. All right, 24. Which ethnicity shows the lowest frequency of expression of negative emotions? I'd be really interested in your theory on why you chose what you chose. The answer is, think stiff upper lip, Europeans. Okay, Europeans do the least amount of expression of negative emotions. Maybe it's because we don't feel as negative, but maybe we do, but we're just not so obvious in our expression of it. Okay, and 25. Most people cite the cause of their anger as A, internal, or B, external. The answer is external. Okay, we're blamers. We mainly blame stuff that's going on outside of ourselves rather than what's going on within. So I will give you a couple of minutes there to add up your score. Remember, it's out of 25. Ping me over in the chat box, tell me what you've got. In the meantime, I will remind all of you who are watching and listening about those upcoming future webinars, which you can find. So if you go to https and then the u.nu/LPSS, that's got all of the future free webinars that are coming up. Then we have what else? Oh, I wanted to remind you to make donations to Superheroes, which you can do by going to superheroes.org/funding. You can make a donation of any size. Every 50 quid we get helps a young person to access one-to-one sessions with our practitioners when they are suffering with mental or emotional issues. And finally, if you've enjoyed this kind of a content, or any of the other webinars, which have probably been a bit more informative, but just less fun, then we also have a membership program that we like to promote through NLP for Kids. And for every month that you remain a member, £1 comes back to Superheroes as well. So I won't give you the details of that one here, but I will put it on the YouTube channel, so you can find it in the description box when you watch this video back. So scores, what have we got here? 15 out of 25. No, not 15, so it says 19 out of 25, so that's not too bad. That's pretty good. Which ones, what were the ones that you got wrong though? Tell me the numbers that you got wrong. I'm gonna guess that you got 10. Did you get 10 wrong? And I'm gonna guess that was a fairly tricky one. You got 20 wrong. And what else? 21. So 5, 8, 13. Okay, let me have a look. So number 5. Oh, you got the Bill Clinton one wrong. Interesting. Okay. And then number 8 was, oh, who experiences anger the most? You got that one wrong. 13. The ICD, the ODD one. Yeah, okay. Oh, I put regret. Yeah, well, clearly not. And then you got 20. That was the neurotransmitters, a difficult one, it's fair. 21 was the prefrontal cortex, and 25. Oh, so you thought most people cite their anger as internal? No, external. We all blame everybody else. No? I meant 24. Oh, okay. Oh, the ethnicity one. Yeah, that's quite a tricky question. Yeah, that's fair enough. I remember when I first went to Bulgaria, and everyone to me there looked pretty miserable. And I remember speaking to someone about it, and they said it's because the winters are really harsh and really, really cold, and it's really, really hard to survive. And it's just kind of coming from that place of like having to sort of trundle on when life is very difficult. Whereas people that get to live in a slightly warmer climate have a sunnier disposition. Don't know if that's true though. So you got 25 right. That's good. All right, excellent. Well, everyone, thank you all so much for joining me this evening. I hope you've enjoyed yourselves and maybe you learned something. I know I did. And we will see you. Well, if you're back tomorrow, you will see me again with Isabella. Otherwise, I will catch you all on my next one next week. And we have tomorrow, and then we will be back again on Monday. So thank you all for joining me. Have a wonderful rest of your evening, and remember to stay calm. Okay, bye.